Hello and welcome back to Redesigned Rose. If you are new here, my name is Jen. Today I am going to walk you through how to make these gorgeous little heart granny squares. I'm also going to add in how to join these and adding a beautiful border if you want to turn these into a blanket. If you're new to granny squares, this is one of the easier granny squares that I've ever come across. And I think it really is a good place for a beginner because it's going to teach you numerous stitches, the height of stitches, and why those are important, how we can start something in the shape of a circle and turn it into a square, all using simple stitches, but enough of them where if you are making a blanket, by the time you're done with all of these, I think the sky is the limit when it comes to other patterns and being able to either design your own or follow along. So come with me. This one will be a little bit of a lengthy tutorial just because there is so much to cover, and this is a project for the strong at heart, no pun intended. It does take some time, it does take some effort. It's not a quick project by any means, but I have to say it is so worth it. And if it's something that you think you can work on a little bit at a time, just like I did, stay with me. Let's learn a lot about crochet today and let's make something beautiful. There's only going to be a few supplies that we'll need to make these granny squares and ultimately this blanket. We're definitely going to need a pair of scissors, a tapestry needle. I will warn you, there's quite a few ends to weave in at the end. So just plan on that ahead of time and know that walking into this project, you're going to have some tails to weave in, but again, I promise it's worth it. The crochet hook that I am using is a 5mm. I'm using this not only for the blanket, but also for the border. I will put the link in the description below of where to purchase these. I've gotten so many requests on these hooks, and believe me, I get it. They're my favorite. I have 2 sets of them. They come in a set of larger sizes and smaller sizes. I have 2 of each. Just because these do tend to grow legs and walk off in my house. But they're really, really lightweight and ergonomical, which I love. But the best part is they're really affordable. The other item that we're going to need, of course, is going to be our yarn. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the brand of yarn that I'm using. I'm actually using a mix of brands here, but any worsted weight yarn is going to be fine. That's going to be a number 4 weight. I will give you the ones that I did use. This one here is from Yarnspirations. It is the Red Heart Super Saver. It is in the color Burgundy, and that's the same color that I did use here. I had a lot of this left over from Christmas and decided I'm going to use that. It was on sale and I stocked up during Christmas, so here we go. Then the off-white color that I used was from Loops and Threads, and it is in their off-white color. Today I'm going to be using Loops and Threads white, and just for fun, I thought I would mix this up. I had toyed with the idea of joining these with a taupe color, but I didn't like it with the off-white. So using the white, I'm going to join with Loops and Threads taupe and just kind of experiment a little on camera while I'm teaching you guys. So let's get started and have some fun. Okay, so to begin our granny square, we're going to first start by constructing the heart itself. I'm going to pull out my red, of course, here, and we'll work that up. Then we will join on the white to work up the border and turning this into a square. Now, there are 2 ways that I'm aware of to start a circle in crochet. The first one is a magic circle, but if I do have a lot of beginners watching this video, I'm going to show you a little easier way because I don't want to scare you off with the magic circle, because it can be a little intimidating at first, but once you get the hang of it, it will be I'm sure your preferred method as well. But for today, I'll show you the simpler method. First thing we're going to do is a slip knot. I'm just going to put that yarn around my fingers here, push this through, but not all the way like I'm going to tie a regular knot. What I'll do is hang on to that loop and remove my hand. So I've got the loop here in my right hand. I'm going to hang on to these sides and pull this down tight. And then I can adjust the size of this loop by either, grab the tail here. This is the tail, this is the working yarn. You can pull this tighter or you can pull it out to make this looser. I'm going to place my hook and I'll just pull this on snug enough where it's close to my hook, but my hook can still move freely. Then what I'll do is I'm going to yarn over towards myself, and I like to hang on to the little knot we just made with my thumb and my middle finger. And I'm just going to pull the yarn through that loop. Then I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to pull through again. Yarn over and pull through. So we've just created what we call 3 chains, 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm going to turn this little sideways here so that you can see, and I'm going to place my hook into that very first chain that we made. And then I want to hang on to the chain that we made, and I'm going to pull it away from the hook just a little bit because I want to reserve that space, and you'll see why in just a minute. So I'm going to yarn over, pull through both of those, and that's what we call a slip stitch to join. Then I'm going to yarn over and chain 1, yarn over, chain 2, yarn over, and chain 3. This is going to bring us up to the height of the stitches that we're going to create next. They're all going to be double crochets. We work a double crochet by putting our yarn over the hook. Then I'm going to go into this space that I reserved, and I'm going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Now I have 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the other 2. So this here is the, this here is the double crochet, and we worked up the chain so that we could have a nice even height with those stitches. That's going to become a little more clear as we go along. This is going to count as the first one. This is the second one. We're going to do a total of 12 into this little circle that we've made. So again, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2 more. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now I have, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets inside of my circle here. Now I'm going to finish up working those 12 double crochets, and I'll meet right up with you. All right, this here is my last double crochet, and you can see it's starting to look like a circle. Now the way that we count these, if you've lost count, it happens a lot in my house because I have a busy household. I'm going to come to the top of that first chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So this was my very first stitch, my second, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I know I have 12 of those in there. Then I'm going to put my hook back in here so I can show you what to do next. So come to the top of that chain 3, and we're going to insert our hook, grab onto the yarn, and pull that through both. That's another slip stitch to join. And now what you'll do is take this tail from our slip knot and pull that nice and snug, and that closes up. And then you've got a beautiful little circle here. Now the next step, I'm going to grab my working yarn here. We're going to work what's called a treble crochet, and that's just one more step than a double crochet. I always think of it, treble as a triple. So what we'll do is yarn over, but we're going to yarn over one more time. So for a double crochet, we just yarned over once. Treble, we're going to yarn over again. And then we're going to count from the stitch we just went into, 1, 2, 3. We're going to insert our hook into that third stitch. And we're going to grab our yarn and pull up a loop. We now have 4 stitches, or 4 loops on our hook, excuse me. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 more, yarn over, pull through the last 2. This is our first treble crochet. We're going to work 8 of them into the very same space, just like we did with our circle to begin with. So every time you yarn over, you're pulling through 2 loops. Insert the hook, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through the last 2. So I now have 3 treble crochets in that same space. Okay, just so you can see, I'm holding this upside down on purpose because we are working this side of the heart. This is the center of the heart, and now we're working this way. And once we get to this point, you're going to memorize this side, and then we're just going to do this side backwards. Okay? And believe me, stay with me, it's all going to make sense. All right, so once again, I have 3 treble crochets. Let's do 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so now what we're going to do is slide these treble crochets over just a little bit, because sometimes they like to hide this little stitch next, and we don't want it hidden. We're going to use it. We're going to do a double crochet. So now we're going to yarn over once, insert the hook into that front and back loop, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 more. We will work another double crochet in the next stitch and a double crochet in the next. Now, just so that we can get a nice point down at the bottom, we're going to do a treble crochet in the same space. And see how that brings that down even further. And just for a little icing on the cake, we're going to chain 1. Okay, and don't forget that chain 1. It becomes important when we start doing the white color. Okay, so this is the first half of our heart. Now we will start working up towards this side. These little hearts actually work up real quick. If you love cozy projects and creative ideas like this one, and you're finding this tutorial helpful, please just take that quick moment to hit subscribe. If you hit the bell, it will notify you when I do bring out more tutorials that's going to give you more inspiration, more patterns, and more homey goodness. Now back to the tutorial. So we just finished with a treble crochet, so we're going to start with a treble crochet in the next space. And then we'll do a double crochet in the same stitch, just like we did on the other side. Then double crochet in the next, double crochet in the next. And then this next stitch, we're going to do 8 treble crochets. And here is my 8th. All right, so just like we started in the beginning, our circle looked a little funny until we closed it. So now it is time to close our heart. And then we're going to go to that slip stitch where we joined, go in between or underneath that, grab your yarn and slip stitch right on top. And then what we'll do is snip off the yarn, And then I like to take my hook and pull that through just to give that a nice little knot to hold for now. And there is our happy little heart. And it is happy because if you see the eyes, the nose, and the face smiling at you, I just think that is so cute every time I see it. I can't unsee it now. And then this is what the back looks like. Okay, so you can definitely tell a difference between the front and the back, but neither one looks bad at all. I think just these facial expressions are a little more pronounced on this side. So anyway, what I did for my blanket is I worked up probably 10 to 20 hearts first, and then I went and made the border around and turned them into squares, and then I would block those. Then I would start another set of just the hearts, then I would turn them into the squares, and then I would block those until I had enough to make my full-size blanket. You don't have to do it that way. You can do each one complete square at a time if you want to. That was just a method that helped me speed things along. All right, now what we'll do is grab the white, and I'm going to go ahead and do a slip knot. So what we'll do, another little tip for your heart, where we have joined and then the slip stitch, or the chain one, excuse me, that we did at the very bottom, in between those two stitches, you should have a total of 12 stitches on each side. So if anything looks off, or when you're starting to do your border here and you find you're missing or have an extra stitch, just make sure you've done the full 12 stitches on each side. And once again, we can count those by looking at these V's on the top. It's a little bit easier, especially with this dark color, but you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So 12 on that side, 12 on that side, plus the chain 1 in the middle and your knot at the top. Okay, so starting from here, we're going to count over 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is where we're going to start adding the white. So I'm going to insert my hook. Then I'm going to put the white onto my hook. We'll tighten that up just a little bit more. And then I'm going to pull that through just enough. I don't want my knot to come all the way through like that. So you just want to pull it through until that knot is right on the other side. And then what we'll do is chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. So what we're going to start doing is working around this in different height stitches so that we can create a nice straight edge and eventually turn this into a square. So this is where the construction gets pretty fun. First stitch we're going to do is going to be a double crochet right into the same space we just came into. And that will also kind of keep that slip knot in place now. Next stitch is going to be a half double crochet. Half double crochet, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook and pull up a loop, yarn over, and this time you're going to pull through all 3. So this one is just a little bit shorter than the double crochet next to it. The next one, we're going to do single crochet. And then the next one, half double crochet. Because this is starting to slant in, we need taller stitches to get to this same height. Next stitch, we're going to do a double crochet. Next is going to be a treble. And I just really like this because it really shows. This is the single crochet being the smallest, other than a slip stitch, of course. Then the half double crochet just reaches up a little bit taller, the double crochet a little bit taller than this one, and then the treble being the tallest of this pattern. and it just brings all of those to a nice straight edge. Now what we want to do is create the corner here, and we're going to do that by working treble crochets into this next stitch, and we're going to work 2 treble crochets into that same space. And then we will chain 2 and then work 2 more treble crochets into that very same stitch. And what that does is brings down this corner right here, and now we're going to start to work across. The next stitch here, we're going to work a we're going to work a double crochet, then a half double crochet. Now we are at that chain 1 space. Inside of here, we're going to work a single crochet. So we now officially have half of the pattern. Well, kind of. I don't want to confuse you, but this top corner here, we put we started with our chain and did a double crochet in the same stitch, but that's only half of this corner. When we come back up around, we'll go ahead and work the other half of the corner and close it. Don't go anywhere. I promise it all makes sense. So after the single crochet, we're going to start working backwards what we did on this side. So we will work a half double crochet, a double crochet, and then we're going to do the 4 treble crochets with the chain 2 in between in this next stitch. So there's 2 trebles, chain 2, and then 2 more trebles. And then we work 1 treble crochet into the next. Now we're going to start climbing down in size on our stitches. So treble, then double, then half double, then single, then half double again. Now we'll work the top corner. And the way we're going to do that will be 2 double crochets in the same stitch, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets in that top corner. So the way this pattern is working, we're creating this cute little space on all 4 corners. We haven't done it on this side yet, but we do that with that chain 2 space in between, and it also helps bring that yarn around. In the next stitch, we will work a half double crochet, and then the last one of this round, you should have 2 more stitches before you come to that join, and we're going to work at what's called a double crochet 2 together, and we do that by yarning over, insert the hook and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, but don't finish it. Now you'll yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. You now have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So what we did is we combined these 2 stitches into 1. Now, to have our white come down to a point and just accentuate our heart a little bit, we're going to work a treble crochet, and I like to pull that down just beneath that join. You can see that space in there. And we'll finish that treble crochet. Then we're going to reverse what we did up here on this side. So the double crochet 2 together, insert your hook and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through both, yarn over, insert your hook in the next one, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through all 3. And then the last stitch that we have here is a half double crochet, but then remember we need to finish this corner. So where we started that chain 3, we're going to put 2 more double crochets in here. There's 1, there's 2, and then we will chain 2, and then come to the top. There's 1, 2, 3. We're going to come to the top here, insert your hook, and slip stitch to join and close. And so here is the beginning of our square. This is how we've turned our heart into a square, just by using those different height stitches to bring it all as level as possible. Now the next 2 rounds are going to level this out even more, but the perfect square shape you're going to get by blocking, I promise. All right, so that is the first round of the white. Now we're going to do round 2 of the white, and we'll start that by doing a chain 3. Now the next 2 rounds are very, very simple. It's all double crochet. We're not going to vary the stitches anymore. And we'll start the first double crochet. This one counts as the first one, the chain 3. The second one, you're going to yarn over and come back in here into this chain 2 space that we made over here. It's almost working it a little backwards, but it's not. So that counts as 2 double crochets, and this is going to be part of our corner that we're creating. When we go all the way back around, we'll finish the corner and join it just like we did here. Then what we want to do is make sure you go to the top of the very first chain from the row below and work double crochet. I start that as counting 1 right there, then 2, then 3. We're just doing double crochets all the way down the row. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. 9 is important because we want to make sure each side has 9 double crochet in addition to the corners that we create. So let's create this corner. And we're going to do that by double crochet 1, a second one in the same space, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochets in the same space. Okay, then once again we're going to do 9 across, starting with the double crochet from the row below. I'm going to go right into that space. There's 1, 2, 8, and then 9. Now we're to the next corner. We're going to create that by working 2 double crochet in the same space, chain 2, and then 2 double crochet into the next. And as you can see, I kind of turned my work a little bit while I was doing that, just to help kind of guide the yarn where it needs to go. And now we're bulking up and straightening out even more our square. So once again, go to the top of the double crochet from the row below. And this is important because this is the most common one, at least when I was learning this, that I missed, so I would be off on my count. So that is just my little trick, is if I follow this up with my hook, that's where I need to go. And then I'm sure I won't miss it. So I'll work 9 double crochet across this side. Okay, and now I'm at the third corner So same thing, 2 double crochet, chain 2, and then 2 more double crochet. Now let's finish off the top. So again, I'll just follow my hook up and start right there, that very first double crochet from the row below. And just like I have on all my sides, I will work 9 double crochets across the top. And there is 9. Okay, so now I'm at the first corner. I need to just finish this off. And I'll do that by working 2 double crochet into that same space, chain 2, and then I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 up to the top of that first chain 3. I'll insert my hook and slip stitch to join. So here we're getting just a little bigger. Now we've only got 1 more round to finish this off. All right, so just how I had started the round below, we'll start this round 3 with another chain 3. And then we'll work a double crochet into that chain 2 space behind us there. And so that counts as 2 double crochet, part of this last corner. Then I'm going to come right up top of this first chain 3 from the row below and work my first double crochet. So now, because we've increased the stitches by adding corners from the row below, now when we work across, there's going to be a total of 13 double crochet and then plus our corners. All right, now I'm at the third corner, the same thing. And if you see all of this repetition, this is also what makes this really good beginner friendly, because it does give you that opportunity to become more comfortable and to really learn each of these stitches over and over. For my first full-size blanket that I worked, I did make 63 squares. So a total of 63 of these guys. That'll give you an idea of the work that was put in. But it is fun if I'm, at one of my kids' sports events, if I'm in the car waiting for school pickups, if I'm sitting and watching a movie, I'll just work a few squares at a time. And like I said, just kind of block those as I make them so that they're all stacked up and ready to go once I had all 63 ready to join. Okay, so I'm at my final corner here. And just like I did for the row below, there is 2 double crochet, chain 2, and now I'm going to join at the top of that chain 3. Isn't that cute? Now, if you wanted to make these even larger, you could. If you wanted your hearts to appear a bit smaller and have the white color, you can continue to do these rounds just as we have for the last 2 and 3. It's going to naturally increase by 4. So you can keep going. If you want to make them larger, it would obviously take you less squares than my pattern here to make your blanket, or you could make as many and just make a much larger blanket. It's totally your choice. But what we'll do here is snip off this white and pull that through just to tug it. And so as you can see, there's going to be 4 tails per square that will need to be woven in at the end of constructing the blanket here. All right, so I've worked up another square because I do want to show you how to join these with the stitch. This is a flat stitch. It's not the invisible. There's a couple of different ways to join, but I do like this flat stitch because I did want to have a border color here. And like I said in the beginning, I'm going to experiment a little bit. I think this taupe is going to look really pretty with this. So we're going to go ahead and start with a slip knot, of course. But I don't want to put it on my hook just yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, because there's two chains in between our corner stitches, what I'm going to do is find this last stitch of the row and jump over one chain next to it. And I'm going to grab the back loop. So there's the back loop and the front loop. I'm just going to grab that back loop on this side. And I want to line my squares up next to each other. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Yeah, so I want to find the last stitch of this row here and then jump over one more. And just so you can see, hopefully see better on camera here, there is a back loop and a front loop to each one of these stitches. And I'm going to grab the back loop only. So when I place my hook in here, just going to go right in there. Now what I'll do is take the slip knot of my taupe color, put it on my hook, and then I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit. And I'm actually going to pull that loop through both of those loops. Now the trick to this join is keeping your, I'm going to grab my tail out of the way here. That's not the tail. You want to keep your working yarn right in between your squares. So now what I'm going to do is go to the next stitch, grab the back loop of that one and the back loop of this next one. Then I'll grab my working yarn here, put it over my hook, and I'm going to pull through all three of those loops on my hook. Then same thing, just going to go to the back loops, yarn over, pull through all three. Come to the next one, pull through all three. And it's just this little back and forth motion and then pulling your joining yarn through all of those loops. And if this yarn does like to split a little bit, just try to make sure you're grabbing the entire loop. You want as much as you can. And as you can see, it's just creating that beautiful little braid right on top. It's nice and flat. Other joins for granny squares I've seen have just really bulk up the sides, and maybe that's what you want for your pattern. But for mine, I wanted the flat stitch, and this is the best way to do that. And I'm just essentially sewing the squares together by using crochet. I'm just going to continue working this all the way down. And where the slip knot is, it can get a little tricky to get in there. So you're just going to get that hook as in there as best you can, and then try to keep this tail, this white tail, out of the way. Pull that through. And then just like we did down at the bottom, we want to go in one more, went to one side of those, that chain two that we did. And then I'll pull that white tail. All right, and so what that does is creates just a nice, beautiful flat braid. And at the end of each row, so you're going to keep coming up, and at the end of each row, you're going to snip off your yarn and pull through, and yes, create another tail. I'm sorry. And then what you'll do is take 2 more. You won't stop here. If you keep going, you're going to put 2 more, and you're just going to keep going all the way up, and you'll work vertically as you add. Then when we're done with that, you're going to come and work across this way. I'm just going to show you with the 2 squares because next I do want to show you the border. But just so you can see what the back looks like, the back looks like it's been done by a sewing machine. It's actually really pretty. I like both sides of this. So to work our border, we're going to go ahead and work a slip knot again. And for the border, you can start at any corner that you want to. It really does not matter. I'm going to go ahead and just turn this upside down. And I'm going to start in this very last stitch from the row below, right here in this corner. I'm going to put my new color on my hook and pull that up. Then I will chain 1. Then I'm going to go right back into the same space and work a single crochet. And now I'm going to work a single crochet in each and every stitch all the way around. We're going to pretend like this is a little miniature full-size blanket. I'm going to go all the way around the entire blanket. All right, you guys, I'm really liking this color combination, and I'm really fearful that I'm going to make myself make another blanket with these 3 colors. I just finished this one. This would match my living room a lot better than the one I made. I have seen other people join and work the border in a pink color. So you have the classic colors of Valentine's Day. So when we get up here to the join, make sure it's a little tough sometimes to get into those chain spaces. And then we're going to go right into that corner. And then what I like to do is go this very last stitch or beginning. This was my slip knot. So this is the beginning. I'm going to go right into the middle of that stitch. And sometimes it is a bit tight, but don't give up. And I'm going to work a single crochet right in there so that it just continues. If you see, it just continues that little pattern up there and just makes it nice and pretty. And then that way it just keeps this nice and level all the way across just by adding that last stitch there. But anyway, you can do whatever colors you want, classic Valentine's Day colors or just something. I always like to make things match my home decor a little bit more than getting into the classic colors, because that way it just blends more. It feels more part of the home rather than just extra decor that's sitting out. And if you are like me and you're busy and you don't always have time to put everything away when the holiday's over, it's not so loud. It blends in. Okay, so in our corner here, what we'll do is work 3 single crochets. And then we'll start just like we did with our squares, go to that last stitch of the row to know where to start. For the next side of the blanket. And then we're at the next corner, so I'm going to do 3 again. There's 1, 2, and 3. And then I start again down the next side. All right, and so once I get to another join here, so once again I want to get into that chain 2 space, and then I'm going to go right into that joining slip stitch from below, and then I'll go into the chain space again to the left of it, and then keep going down the row. All right, and now I'm at the next corner, so want to work once again 3 single crochets, and we just go right on top. And then I'm going to go into the top of that last, or first in this case, first stitch of the row. I'm going to pull this slip knot tail a little bit tight because sometimes that does come loose in there. But now that we have crocheted over top of it, that's going to secure that in place. We won't have to worry about that again. And then I'll finish this last side of my blanket, and then we'll work the next round of the border. All right, so I'm at the last corner, and I would want to put my final 3 single crochets in. And then I'm going to come to the top of the very first single crochet that we did at the beginning, and I'm going to slip stitch to join. So then we have just a nice single border. Now, if you wanted for your blanket, you can stop at this with just the single crochet. I did like the little scallop border. It seems to be a thing that I've gotten into lately. So I'm going to show you how to do that next. For round 2, I'm going to chain 2. And then what I'm going to do in that very first stitch is work a double crochet. And then you guessed it, yep, we're going to work double crochets all the way around the blanket. Just the same as we did with the single crochets all the way around. And you just want to make sure that in each corner stitch, you have those 3 double crochets. Okay, so coming up on the first corner, here is where I placed those 3 single crochets. Okay, so I've put a double crochet into the first one. The second one is where I want to put my 3 double crochets. Middle, very, very middle of that corner. All in the same space, and then we continue with 1 in each, all the way down. And what that does is it just allows this corner to stay flat. If it was too tight, it would stay curled up, but putting the 3 stitches in the one allows it to relax and have a nice round corner shape. All right, I'm at the next corner, so here's my 3. So I'll work 1 into the first one, 3 into the second, and 1 into the third. And then just continue down. Now the next round, the third and final round, is where we will get the scallop design. And it is super easy and kind of fun to do. So make sure you stay with me for that. Now I'm at that third corner where I've got those 3 stitches. So I'm going to do 1, 3, and 1. All right, I'm at the last corner where I am left with those 3 stitches. I've already worked one in the last one, so I'm just going to work 1 and then 3. And then I'm going to come to the top of my chain 3 here and slip stitch to join. All right, now is where we get to the fun scalloped part, and it's very, very easy. So first thing we're going to do is chain 1, and then I'm going to work 5 single crochet into the very same space. Then I'm going to skip 2, and I'm going to come over here and work 5 single crochet in the same space. Skip 2, and in this third, again 5 single crochet. And you can see it just creating this really pretty scalloped border that I am just in love with. And nothing special to do in these corners. The design of this scallop makes it so that you don't have to put extra stitches in. I'm just going to continue to work your 5 into 1, skip 2, and then 5 into the next. And as you can see, it just really works out nicely. So I'm going to continue to work up this border all the way around, and then I will meet up with you in the end. So I'm at my last corner here. Put in those 5 stitches. Then I'm going to come to the very first one and slip stitch to join. Snip off the end and pull out my hook. Okay, so the importance of working up a swatch before you commit to a full-size blanket. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore this. I feel like these colors here, I'll show you the picture of the full size. This is more of a vintage color pattern where I feel like this is more modern, but you know, take some time to work up a swatch like this, or even just one square with the border, and experiment with the different colors. Experiment with maybe just rounds 1 and 3 of the border, just to reduce it a little bit if you don't want a large border. I like larger borders, that's just my style. But you can see the front and then the back. Of course, our last step is to weave in all of these tails. And I'm just going to show you one on camera so that you don't fall asleep on me. But we're just going to take our needle, thread that through, and the trick to weaving in your ends is to try to go in through the tightest part. Like this part right here is, this is a longer part of the stitch. This isn't going to hold very much. I want to go down where it's tighter and connected to the row below. And even if you can split the yarn a little bit, and also going in as many different directions as you can. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You just want to find those tighter parts of your knots that you've created with your crochet. Like this here, we've got 5 stitches in one, so it's going to be probably a good idea to tuck that in through those. So that's pretty tight. And just a few different directions. Remove the needle and snip that off at the very end, and that tail is just completely gone. And you would do that with each and every one of these at the end of your blanket, to where the backs of these are completely free of tails. I know this was a lot, but I hope this was helpful for you today. I went over a lot on purpose because I feel like if you can really master this one down, it's going to set you up, if you're a beginner, for so much more. This really covers quite a bit in construction and different stitches, and how we can create beautiful borders, how we can join, how we can create something from circle to square. Let me know in the comments below. And of course, if you found this helpful, I always appreciate if you like, comment, subscribe. You can find me on social media at Redesigned Rose. Until then, let's keep making something beautiful.